get ready, music is about to change forever. This video is supported by NordPass, letting you store all of your passwords in one place, organise your logins and private notes in a secure password vault, and access it all with a single master password. And with NordPass's data breach scanner, you can find out if your online account or credit card information has been leaked. Right now, NordPass has their Spring Forward sale too until June the 1st, 2021, so my audience can get 70% off NordPass at nordpass.com/iCave or use the code iCave. Plus, you'll get an additional month of NordPass for free. Thank you to NordPass for sponsoring this video. I'm iCave Dave and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you, and if you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 12 UTC, like this video, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss a thing. And today we've got actually quite a lot of news, which is surprising because quite often on a Monday there's very little to talk about, but Apple did stuff yesterday on a Sunday. This is unbelievable. So the Apple Music app teased, get ready, music is about to change forever. Yesterday, inside the Apple Music app, in the Browse tab, there's a little video. It's got the Apple Music logo spinning around, but in like multiple levels. I feel like this is kind of confirming what we were talking about spatial audio coming very soon, but we've also got some leaks coming from different people, so let's get into it. And this is weird because Apple never teases their stuff before it's announced, so it's got to be like really, really close. And maybe they've just actually noticed that everyone's talking about it already because they've put stuff into the Android Apple Music app and the iOS stuff. But I have an unsubstantiated theory about all of this, so here we go. Reviewer and professional Mac restorer on YouTube, Luke Miani, last week tweeted the date May 18th, and it turns out he was talking about AirPods getting their update released via press release, as well as the Apple Music HiFi that we've been talking about for the last week or so. Assuming that's what they call it. They might call it something completely different.
That's in the hotel.
Has he gone inside?
Yeah.
Okay, well you tell him to get out, and we'll go and check on him if he's still there. You close my door so I can finish my video, and then we'll check. Thank you. Now, Luke isn't known as a leaker, but it got picked up on Apple Track, so there may well be some validity to this, especially given Apple's tease of their own music app that appeared on Sunday. Prominent leaker and friend of the show, Jon Prosser, however, responded to Luke's tweet with a headshake gif, so clearly some of what Luke's predicting doesn't line up with what Jon is hearing from his sources, so it's all a little bit confusing. But here's my thoughts. We know that the iMac with M1 is now with a lot of the reviewers, and their embargo lifts on Tuesday at 9 AM Eastern Time, and then the iPad Pro embargo lifts the next day. But as I mentioned last week, iMac's launch focused a lot on that new speaker setup. So here's a thought. Not only are those reviewers getting early access to the iMac for their reviews, but what if they're also getting early access to this new music format and a little pair of AirPods 3rd generation in their box of delight from Apple? We know that a lot of people watching those iMac videos are probably not looking to buy an iMac right now, but they could well do an impulse purchase on the new AirPods on the day to make the most of that Dolby Atmos spatial audio feature that could well be coming. The AirPods 3rd generation refresh is expected to add spatial audio support from the AirPods Pro and AirPods Max, but probably not adding the active noise cancellation and transparency mode, as they're not expected to seal the ear. Also, in a side note, on the music side of things, while many thought that Beats were being phased out as a brand in favour of Apple's own branded AirPods line, Apple have hired former HTC designer Scott Croyle to work on the Beats by Dre devices. This lines up with my theory on Beats that they're designed more to appeal to non-iPhone users. At least there's a subset of Android users who would not buy anything with the Apple name on it out of principle, but the Beats line feels far enough away from Apple for them to justify. But as a part of that, they also then get a taste of Apple's hardware, see how good it feels and works, and might be tempted to switch to an iPhone on their next upgrade cycle. Or maybe the new music stuff will just drop today and this video will age very badly within a couple of hours. That could also make sense, as it gets a day of breathing room then with the iMac reviews on Tuesday, iPad Pro reviews on Wednesday, and maybe the AirPods drop on Thursday before a lot of people receive their new products on Friday, letting Apple completely dominate the news cycle for this week, and then next week with people reviewing their new AirPods, and then we're pretty much at WWDC, which is 3 weeks from today. Who knows? Let me know your theories, conspiracy or otherwise, down in the comments. Next up, I just want to say our thoughts are with Drew from Tailosive Tech, as in a very personal attack on him, Apple have discontinued the Space Grey editions of the Magic Keyboard, trackpad and the Magic Mouse. Or at least they've switched them to while stocks last, which is also what happened to their daddy Mac, the iMac Pro. This doesn't mean that there will never be anything in a dark colour again, which appears to be Drew's worry, but the new style accessories do have a different industrial design with a larger radius curve on the corners, and of course the option for adding Touch ID to the keyboards too, so it could just be ahead of that update. There's also a chance, of course, that the Pro versions of these keyboards could also come with extra features like backlit keys, or maybe even OLED keycaps replacing the touch bar type experience on the MacBook Pros, and maybe even the Pro level iMacs too for the former function row. That could also explain why we've seen taller function keys in the keyboards for those new MacBooks that we were talking about last week. Those ones with the lovely colours. And while we're talking about colours, smooth segue or what, only ruined by me mentioning it, thanks to a new survey from CellCell, we now know the most popular and least popular iMac colours ahead of the launch too. Top is blue with 33.4%, then silver at 30.1%, making up the bulk of the sales between those two. Then you drop down to 13.4% for green, purple at 8.9%, yellow at 6.8%, pink, which is kind of red on the back, 4.1%, very low I think, and also orange at 3.3%, bringing up the rear. Now, I can't wait to see how these look when they're in the hands of actual tech YouTubers tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure that iJustine will have probably been sent a pink one because stereotypical. And also, what are they going to send MKBHD when there's no matte black anything? Answers on a postcard, or probably in the comments works better. So, new members of Notification Squad. The Notification Squad are the people that see all of my videos as soon as they come out because they get a little ping from YouTube. And today we have new members Alan Keaveney and Azure. Thank you so much for joining the Notification Squad. If you want to do that, all you need to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. Then use the hashtag down in the comments section. Right, we're going to get into some iCave answers. We've got quite a lot to get through again today, so we're going to do them pretty rapid fire. And if I can do them quickly enough, I might even break them up and put them into like Instagram or something like that. So, if you want to see if I've done the work, head over to instagram.com/iCaveDave, or it might have an underscore in there. Work it out. Like, it's not that hard. Ham tunnel. You put that back in the fridge. And close the door of the fridge and my office. Good boy.
Marcin Kowalczyk, I have seen people using HomePod Mini as a speaker for the M Mini. Do you reckon that's a good pair-up?
As I say, rapid fire, so no, I don't. I tried that when I got my Mac Mini. That was actually going to be my entire audio setup, but it sucked really hard. Number one, you can't do notifications through it, as far as I know, unless they've updated the software, in which case I will play with it again. But the notifications were still coming from the terrible little internal speaker that they put in the Mac Mini for no apparent reason. It would be better to not have one. It sounds about as good as an AirTag. But the other big issue is that because it's Bluetooth, there is a delay, so if I was editing videos using it, that would not work very well at all. And also, it just kind of, like, the delay was long. It was like 2 to 3 seconds. That might have been updated in the recent software updates, but at the time, it was definitely undoable. I might try it again, just to see.
Brian Wichtenheiser, what's the oldest iPhone you'd recommend for a daily driver? What's your favorite aside from the latest? I'm looking to move from Android to iPhone.
The oldest one that I would recommend picking up, only if you can find it very, very cheap, probably we're talking like less than $200, would be like an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. The 8 would be a much better idea, but if you go into those kind of prices, you're still going to be into like $300. And for $400, you can get an SE, which has still got the older style design, but it has also got a A13 processor inside, which means it will be current for another few years. That's a really good idea. Or you could go for an iPhone 11, which is a really good price. It's like $599. You can probably pick some up used or a used iPhone 11 Pro for about the same amount. But I really wouldn't go any older than like an iPhone 7 at a real push or an 8 at a bit of a push.
0280 Turham, what do you think about MacBook Pro 14 and 16-inch? Will it launching at WWDC or when it will launch?
Right, yeah, I've been saying since forever that I think that they're just around the corner. M1X needs to come out before the M2s do, which I do think are going to be October, November time, the same as they were last year. I think probably October, because I think November was when they were kind of pushing, like, that's just because everything kind of got pushed back a bit because of the pandemic. Things are a little bit easier now, although there have been some issues over in India because the pandemic's pretty bad right now over there, and a lot of stuff is also built over there. But yes, 14-inch and 16-inch, I'm pretty sure they will be coming out at WWDC, but I've also been saying that they'll be coming out from, like, March this year, so I don't know why anyone listens to me anymore, but that's when I think they're coming.
Evan Rogers, will Apple ever offer multiple user login with iPadOS?
Yes, multiple user login is something I've wanted on iPadOS forever. There have been recent rumours that Apple is looking at doing multiple users in Secure Enclave, which basically is where all the biometric stuff is kept. So, fingers crossed, please let that be something that they're adding. It really is something that's needed, especially if the iPads are going to be more powerful. Like, you might well have multiple iPads in a house, and then people share like an iPad Pro that does all the like heavy video editing stuff now that we're getting M1s in there. So I don't know, it makes like a lot of sense to me, but Apple's let us down a few times on this one.
William Phillip, for those loath to stream music, hopefully Apple's HiFi audio lossless files will be available for download purchases on iTunes.
I'm going to say almost certainly it doesn't really make any sense that they would just do it as streaming, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are on like bandwidth caps. And also, even within Apple Music streaming, you can download tracks to your device, so you don't have to like stream them every single time. So it would make all the sense in the world that you are able to buy those things too. But we don't have confirmation on it. I would hope that they will do that though. Yes, absolutely. You should be able to purchase these high fidelity tracks from the Apple Store too. Do they even still call it iTunes on anything?
Brunt TV, not really an Apple question, but what are your hardships being a YouTuber?
I've got to say, nothing is hard about being a YouTuber. You just have to keep doing it. And also, if I was to complain about like sitting in my office and talking about Apple, then I shouldn't be sitting in my office talking about Apple. What I love about it is that I'm just talking about the stuff that I would be talking to people about anyway, but I'm just recording it and then editing it and throwing it up. The frustrations, going back to my main job, is gonna make life more difficult with also doing this at the same time. So the shows might get shorter. Other than that, it's just a time management thing. I don't have any hate from people really online. There's like a handful of comments where people don't agree with me. You're allowed to not agree with me. Just don't be a dick about it.
Nitrix, with the renders of the new MacBook Air showing such a thin design, do you think Apple will revive the butterfly keyboard design to minimize thickness, possibly fixing its notorious dust debris problem whilst they are at it?
Will Apple bring back the butterfly keyboard? Not 100% sure, because they've kind of got rid of it from their MacBook Pros and stuff like that at the last refresh. The 16-inch came back with the scissor switch keyboard. The current MacBook Pro with M1 has got a scissor switch keyboard. Like, if they can make it work really well and not break instantly and feel nice to type on, brilliant. If they can't, don't. But we have heard that they are looking to not kind of get rid of it forever, but take it away and bring it back, maybe in a new version. I don't think the switch mechanism was the issue. I think the issue was that it wasn't properly shielded against the dust and debris, as you've mentioned. But I also think in this MacBook/MacBook Air, I don't think they potentially need to go super thin on the keyboard, because the battery life on M1 is so good. And presumably with the other M series chips, with M2 is probably going to be even more efficient. They can probably afford to put a slightly smaller battery in there and still get like 15 hours of battery life. So maybe they don't need to go as thin with the keyboards now. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. And thank you all for watching this video. If you want me to answer any questions for you, hashtag iCaveAnswers down in the comments with your question, and I will get to it, assuming it's vaguely Apple related and not too offensive. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.